r/AskReddit, what is the most $1 has ever gotten you? I bought a cookie for $1 at a bake sale. Didn't really want it later on. Gave it to a lady I worked with. She loved me for it. I was her favorite after that. That lady was my asshole of a boss. Best dollar ever. I was expecting a porn plot, but I got wholesome employees instead. McChicken with mac sauce. Didn't get charged for the mac sauce. Beautiful. I won $40 off of a $1 scratcher once. That was an awesome surprise. I bought a McDonald's burger for this homeless guy near my old job. The guy was grateful, so he taught me how to make origami cranes and we became friends. Fast forward follow up, he got back on his feet and now has a nice apartment and a really annoying, yappy dog. Teaches craft classes at a local community center. He teaches crafts, that is. His dog doesn't teach. That'd be silly. That'd be awesome. A wife. I signed up for a river tour in a foreign country. It cost me an extra $1 to ride in the first boat leaving. Didn't want other boats in the way of my photos. Met someone on that boat who later introduced me to her cousin. Been married 8 years. Not $1 but 60p. Got me 2 donuts from Sainsbury's which I enjoyed with my mate when we went to a football match, probably the most I've ever appreciated a food item. That 60p was literally all I had left in my bank account. I used to work at a motel doing the night audit. There was a Papa John's across the street, and in a I scratch your back you scratch mine agreement they would deliver me a 10-inch pizza for $1 as often as I liked. I would tip $1 to the driver and suggest Papa John's to any patrons looking for a bite to eat. Once bought a beer for €1. Turns out you get a raffle ticket with each drink. Long story short, I won a surfboard. What did you do with a surfboard? Trade it for beer. When I was 16 my aunt and uncle wanted to give me an old hand-me-down car that both my cousins used when they first got their licenses, but because of tax purposes, it made more sense to sell the car to me. I bought my first car for $1. Bought an interesting looking silk blouse at a pay-by-weight Goodwill outlet. $0.99 per pound, so was less than $1, technically, since it weighed mere ounces. Turned out to be rare vintage Versace. Sold it for around $700. Okay. To preface this, we grew up really poor and every now and then we would go to this cheap store where everything is expired and my mom would let me and my siblings, there's 4 of us, have $1 to spend, and so we would try to make it count, and I think the most I ever got was a sucker, a Tootsie Roll, an apple juice box, and 8 gumballs. Sounds like a sweet fucking haul for $1. I don't know if this counts, but I went to a local casino a few years ago, and I was down to my last $2. I was halfway out the door defeated, but I walked by a row of cheap slots. I found a 20-line game at 1 penny per line, so I put the last of my money in the machine, and I had a decision to either bet 20 cents, 40 cents, 60 cents, 80 cents, $1 or $2. I only had enough money in there for 1 spin at maximum bet, but I kinda wanted to make what little money I had last. I decided at 40 cents a spin. To win the jackpot on this machine, you needed to get the top symbol, which was a race car I think, across an entire line for it to hit. The reels are spinning. It felt like slow motion. The 5 race cars landed across the center line. Some old guy sitting next to me who had been playing there starts freaking out. You just hit the jackpot. I got really excited, but then the money stopped counting after $80. Turns out you needed to be playing maximum bet, $2 a spin, in order to trigger the jackpot. Instead I won $80 off a .40 wager. A rather bossy loud woman came into our shop to talk to my brother. My 6-year nephew told her she needed to leave so he could finish his homework. She laughed and left. I gave my nephew $1 for getting her to leave. I didn't tell him why he got the $1. Black Friday, the local animal shelter has a special any black dog or cat for a $1. Nephew buys a dog with his $1. So $1. Got rid of an annoyance, saved a dog's life, gave my nephew a great pet, annoyed the shit out of my brother because he really didn't want another dog at the house. $1 is about 50 pesos in the Philippines, enough to buy a pack, 24 PCS, of ice popsicles several decades ago. During summer breaks, I'd buy a pack and sell per piece to our neighborhood kids. I'd restock from my initial capital plus earnings until the new school year starts, and I'd earn about 500 pesos. I traded a bunch of $1 coins for $2 coins when my little brother was dumb enough to believe that, because they were bigger, the $1 ones were worth more. When I was very young, around 6, I think, I was sitting on a curb trying, and failing, to play my new toy guitar when an old man put a dollar bill at my feet. I was absolutely flabbergasted and tried to give it back to him, but he explained he was tipping me. I was then introduced to the wonderful and lucrative world of busking, from which I have received lots of enjoyment and cash in recent years. I once bought a bag of chips and left it at coworker's desk for her day. We were all broke, so I just spent 75 cents on her favorite kind. She was thousands of miles from home and apparently having a terrible time, and was so moved by the tiny gesture she opened up to me. I bought for 50 cents at Goodwill, on separate occasions, a copy of Ticket to Ride Europe that was brand new and retails for $50. An old warboard game expansions brand new that I sold for $150. A like new Gamma Cube copy of the Mega Man Legacy Collection that I sold for $65. A former friend borrowed $1 off me and never saw his bitch ass again. Dollar well spent. Bought a raffle ticket for $1 and ended up winning an advent calendar of Jim Beam whiskers valued at $45. It was only 12 days worth, and I drank it all on the first day, got really drunk, and banged a chick who got pregnant, and now I'm in crippling debt because she had a baby and left me and filed for child support. Best $1 ever. I told my mom when I graduated college I was gonna buy myself a GoPro to take with me on a music tour that following summer. She told me to use her credit card rewards and see what I can find for the points she had accumulated. Turns out she was 10 points short of earning the exact camera I wanted. I called customer service to ask if I could just pay the difference, and they told me I only had to pay $1 for the camera. Few days later I received a brand new GoPro 5 just in time for my music tour. A girlfriend. True story. Girl I work with was thirsty and didn't have $1 for a Sprite, so I went and got her one. Struck up a conversation and still together a year later. Literally my entire life for the last 3 years. I took a break at work, bought an Arizona tea can, and had a breakdown. I was working a shit job, living in a shit apartment with a racist roommate, and I was in a city I didn't know. That breakdown led me to quit, move, find a better job, a better roommate, and a better city. Now I'm making 4x what I had been 3 years ago and just had an interview for a massive promotion. Bought a raffle ticket. Won a night's stay at the Peabody in Little Rock, dinner at Capriccio Grill, and tickets to a UALR basketball game. In England, so it's £1. Paid for a homeless person's burger at Max's when his voucher was out of date. Some kind of dad hipster watches it happen and offered me a job on the spot with his design company. Didn't care that I wasn't qualified. Worked there for 2 years before I moved on to freelance UX. Left on good terms, and each UX work my way from time to time. So I guess that pound got me L38k before tax. Once at a slot machine €3 got me €1,000, and then you cashed out and went home. Yes, 1000 is a magical number. Then you quit and cash out. One time at a garage sale I saw a wheelchair I fancied. I asked the guy how much, and he told me $1. Alright, sold. Everyone asked me why, and I said why not? A few years later my mom got sick, and that wheelchair came in real handy for my dad when it came to helping her get around. I'll always consider that the best dollar I spent. 100 pennies. Gotta be honest, you got ripped off. Water when I nearly was fucking dying. My horse. He was a rescue, so I paid $1 to make it a legal transaction. So maybe the real answer is a lifetime addiction and thousands upon thousands of dollars lost that could have gone towards something practical, like retirement. I got my cat for $1. The shelter was at capacity with kittens. He's a fat tub of lard about as useful as a lawn ornament, whiny, and obnoxious, and I love him. Who needs retirement when you have pets? I worked at a casino as a security guard. I'd usually bring my lunch, but one day decided to go to another casino and get their free pizza buffet. I put $1 in the machine and immediately won $50. So I bought myself 49 more pizza lunches. Bought a costume necklace for 89 cents plus tax at a thrift store. Turned out to be 18k gold with a fake clasp. I spent $40 on a new clasp and sold it for $500. I could have not bought the clasp and sold it for $300 for melt, but the additional $40 was worth it. I bought a girl a taco for $0.89 once, and then she let me smash 2 for 1 taco night. Nice. In the U.S. Navy, when I was on deployment my ship traveled to Israel. The exchange rate from USD, $ to whatever they call shekels was like 1:4. Meaning for every dollar spent American I got the equivalent to 4 of their dollars. I went to this food vendor that served shawarmas, Middle Eastern sandwich, and it was amazing. So for 3 shekels or 75 cents American I got a 12-inch chicken shawarma sandwich, 12 ounces Coca-Cola and some pita chips / hummus. That was the best tasting sandwich I've had in my life. Chicken, cucumbers, tomatoes, onions, hummus and flatbread all rolled up like a burrito. Coca-Cola there was great, no high fructose syrup, only cane sugar. Pita chips / hummus were all homemade including the bread for the sandwich. Best part of traveling for me is trying the local food, shopping and going to the historical sites to learn more about each nation I travel to. $92. Worked a coat check at an auction and we weren't supposed to have a tip jar. Well, someone placed an empty glass on the counter and eventually someone else thought it was a tip jar and started tipping. I said nothing. It got so full that I had to empty it, and then people no longer tipped because it was just an empty cup. So I put $1 back in, which made people assume it was a tip jar again, and then the tips came flowing again. Second wave of tips made $92. So putting $1 back in made me $92. I regret absolutely nothing. This is psychology. My sister learned this in class and used it when she worked a concession stand one summer. She threw $1 in and customers started tipping. A friendship. To clarify, I live in Europe and we actually don't have dollars here. When I came back from New York I had some dollars left and had them in my wallet still for a long time, even when I'd forget about them from time to time. Once I was talking to a girl I met and started talking about America. She had never been there, and I remembered that I had $1 in my wallet. I gave it to her, and she was really happy. Still talking to her to this day, only a bit less than we used to, but safe to say I can call her a friend of mine.